मैं मांग रहा हूँ। यहाँ चला रहे हैं तो फिर वहां पे वो ज्वाइन कर लेगा और क्या है। चेक कर। हाँ नहीं, मैं कह रहा हूँ यहाँ चला रहे हैं तो फिर वहां ज्वाइन। हेलो। 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 कॉपी करो, लिंक कॉपी मुझे भेजो पहले एक जगह से। ये रीचा रीचा मैडम को भेज दो। ये इसे मीटिंग में जाके
कैमरा दिख रहा है, इधर से बंद। तुमने म्यूट ऑफ कर रखा है क्या मेरे वहां से? भारत तो जा रही है। हाँ, हमारी जा रही है। म्यूट कर दीजिए। उधर लगा हुआ है। नहीं, म्यूट कर।
You. So, hi everyone, I'm Richa Daga. I'm a global technical speaker, an international best-selling author, and I'm also an inventor, mentor, and most importantly, like all of you are going to become an engineer by heart. So my journey of engineering started around 18 years back when I took admission in electronics and communication engineering in around 2008. So I know you would be just reminding yourself and guessing my age, but that's okay. It's a part of growing up. So with that, I would like to share with you all what happened when I first joined engineering. To all the students who are here today, they will graduate from your campus after 4 years of BTech, ACSC, or mathematics, or some of the PhD students here, or some of the MTech students. What you will call yourself? Engineer, CS3, mathematics, or postgraduate? But that is one of the professional titles that you will earn after graduating from there. But far down, you have to carve your own path. And that's why I carry these titles in front of you as the technologist, author, speaker, mentor, and an inventor. Yeah, just a second. Sorry? Train fault. Okay, so to all the engineers out there, you will learn how faults occur, how bugs occur. We have small fault here as well, but not to worry. We can try to solve that as well. Okay. Can we just move it up so that even though you show the slides, but you can move it up? You can just, yeah, increase here, just up a bit. Okay, so at least now you are able to see the complete slide. Yeah. Okay, so this is kind of an introduction for me, which I brought it down to share with all the brightest minds here. So I am a global speaker at the IEEE Women in Engineering International Leadership Conference in US. Now, how many of you know about IEEE? Just raise your hands. I think many of you. Okay, you have some of the questions out here as well, but IEEE is Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineering. Why I want to highlight this in front of you. Yesterday, you have taken your admission. You will be thinking about all the subjects that you will be studying here. But along with the subjects, there is a vast domain of knowledge that is waiting out for you. And you're just sitting in your campus around a group of maybe 250 students. But are you alone? There are numerous colleges in Delhi out there, with several in India. There are a plethora of colleges all over the globe. But how do we unite all the engineers out there? How do we come together to solve the problems which the world is facing? Like suppose, if I just want to relate with you, how many of you have seen the movie Ant-Man? So what did Ant-Man used to say about having a communication about? What was the third word that was mostly used there? We wanted to talk about? Any guesses? What was all Ant-Man? How it used to reduce its size there? It used to go into its realm. Quantum realm. So the one that you think about is only happening in the movies. It is out there in the real world. We say that Ant-Man used to go in the quantum realm, but quantum networking, quantum engineering, quantum computing is out there in today's world. And the algorithms that are happening there are at the fastest speed possible. Now you're sitting there in campus, you're thinking that you also want to contribute there. So there comes some of the societies that are working towards it, like IEEE. They have their own quantum groups where you can interact with enthusiasts like you who want to learn in the future and talk about quantum computing. Suppose you want to talk about how optical communication is working with someone in the US. And you want a graduate student there to interact with you, to collaborate with you, to brainstorm with you. So that's how these IEEE groups, these societies come into the picture. So once we will wrap up this session today, just Google on the internet regarding what the IEEE society is, and then you can come back to your teachers and ask about them and how you can join one in the college itself. So why I was telling you about that? That I be a speaker in the IEEE Women in Engineering International Leadership Conference. Just like you, I wasn't aware about it when I entered the college. But I myself started the IEEE Women in Engineering Society in my college, launched it, and it has been going on since 18 years now. So this is the power that you have with yourself in the college itself. If something is not existing, you have the power to create it, to be a thought leader, to envisage it, to form a group and become a founder right here in the college itself. So we'll deep upon it further. Next, I would want to talk about that I have been a speaker in the IoT Slam conference. IoT Slam is a global conference where different companies come together to share about what is happening in the world of Internet of Things. Now, how many of you would know about IoT or at least heard about it? So, there are numerous times rising in the campus today. So, IoT is Internet of Things. And if you want to distinguish or think about what is IoT, just think about the word smart. So anything you say, like smart building, smart home, smart transportation, or even in the mining industry, even in the autonomous vehicles, IoT is everywhere. But before you go so deep into having mining kind of solution, you can start here in the college itself with the help of processors, with the help of Arduino. You can just write a small IoT programs to connect to have machine-to-machine communication, which we call as end-to-end, which is one of the three pillars of 5G also. Because machine-to-machine communication of IoT is not possible without we have ultra-reliable, low-latency communication. And for that, if you want to learn more about Internet of Things, you can go further and take subjects or specializations into 5G about Internet of Things. I'll go into it further again. Next is the sub-optic conference. Now I'm telling you about all these conferences because there's a hidden technology behind all of them. So submarine optical networking. How many of you have heard about that? Submarines? So what do we know about submarines? Seen in the movies, seen in fighter movies, where a submarine is there, an army, not army, a navy is there on the submarine waiting for the attacks or fighting the attacks. That's what we know about submarine. But submarine in the technology world is submarine networking. So just tell me, if you want to connect with your friend, maybe in another continent, how do you do that? Make a phone call, make an internet call, have maybe video conferencing, or if you want to binge watch your shows on Netflix, how does that happen? You just log in into the Netflix and then you start streaming your show and you're happy. But do you know how that is happening in the background? How's that? Like those kind of things, those movies are getting broadcasted or getting streamed to your computers or your phones right there. How are you able to connect with your friend, maybe sitting in Canada or in Australia so instantly? That is possible with the help of submarine optical fiber technologies, and that we call as submarine networking. So, when you would go into your studies further, someone would also be having a subject such as optical communications, which talk about optical fibers. So, you would have heard about optical fibers. If anyone would have heard, please raise your hands. Many of you. So, you would have heard about optical fibers, but light travels in optical fiber, but without engineering support, without having to amplify the data that is going on, we cannot transfer the data from one continent to another. And everything that is occurring is with the help of submarine optical fiber cables that are not there in the sky, not in the satellites, but on the ocean bed. They are right under the water, and that's why we call it submarine networking. So I'll touch upon that moving further as well. But I just want to make you acquainted with the different kind of technologies that are waiting for you once you step out in the outside world, and the precursor of it you can have in your campus itself. So next is the different kind of conferences within separate, like Women Who Code, Women Who Tech, and women in Telugu conference. So Telugu is about telecommunication. So in the outside world like RCR, Virus, News, there are several newspaper bodies that cover about what is going on in the technology field in the Telugu industry. So there we have women in Telugu conferences as well, where the women who are finally in that area are going further. Others are about some of the global equity conferences at Cisco, where Cisco is having their security events as well. And these are some of the events where you can participate and share your knowledge within your campus or once you go outside in the industry. Yeah, so this is also, I just wanted to give you some background about what happens when you are here and when you go outside in the world. So on the topmost left, there you see a poster kind of presentation. This is the one which I was talking about as the submarine optical networking conference, which happens once every 3 years in different continents. This one was hosted in Asia. This is the kind of poster presentation which you would be having in the campus itself. So whenever such kind of an opportunity shows up in the campus, just grab that because it would be forming a foundation for you when you go out of the campus in the technology world. Others are some of the conferences in the Bharat Electrical Conference, which even had our ministers and Prime Minister Modi who inaugurated the conference. And then we also have a Grace Hopper Conference. How many of you have heard about Grace Hopper? I see one hand going up. Anyone on the top side? Grace Hopper. So who are we? How do we identify ourselves? We are engineer, of course, but we are women engineers. So are women able to come in the engineering field so easily? No. The time and the century that we are in today, this is still better because women are able to enter this field to support the society. But Grace Hopper was a computer scientist, a mathematician, who was there in the US, in the Navy, and she designed the first programming languages such as COBOL. So she was a pioneering woman, a computer scientist who was there in the field with all men out there. Like 1920s, 30s, that was the time around where computer programming was going further up. And Grace Hopper went further. So it is the impact of such kind of women who are there behind us 70, 80 years back, who have laid up the foundation of computer engineering. And the Grace Hopper Conference, which I was telling you, that was the remarkable contributions of Grace Hopper to the engineering to the computer world, that we have a global Grace Hopper Conference in the US as well as in India. So, as women engineers and as female engineers, we ought to know the remarkable women who have paved the path for us to grow further in this field. So, on the rightmost side, I was speaking to the students at IIT Madras, talking about the interconnected realm of telecommunications, speaking to them about cybersecurity, about optical communications, just showing that for you that was a complete technical talk. But here, since you just entered college yesterday, you'll be touching upon different streams of engineering and how you can make a mark in the 4 years of college and the 2 years of college further into the corporate world. Okay, now just to bring everyone on the same page, how many of you are aware of the place called Kharchula? I know no one would know about that place because I have been at Delhi. I was born in Delhi, but when I was 4 years old, my father got transferred to a remote valley which was located on the Indo-Nepal border. The place was called Kharchula. There was a Kali river which separated India and Nepal. There was a single bridge. And as a child, I could just cross from India to Nepal without even a passport. That is such the marvels of this place. And I'm just telling you about this to make every one of you find your STEM spark. Because my interest with technology started when I was a 4-year-old kid in Kharchula in the Indo-Nepal border. And how did that start? So what do we see here? On the right side, right bottom, dance. So my father was transferred there to such remote locations, not because it was so fancy. There were not even schools there, but there were hydroelectric power stations. So as a kid, as a 4-5-year-old, my best place in the world was power control roads, which you will see on the top right. Such looks like a power control road in black sites. So the 5-year-old kid I was wondering what is happening. Why are these turbines moving so fast? How is electricity being formed out of water? But that was my first test with what is engineering. And the engineers out there used to explain me in all the layman terms how the 5-year-old kid understand. But I'm just saying that every one of us in our childhood would have got exposed to some kind of technology. Mine was witnessing the dance, witnessing the turbines in the power control stations. Seeing how electrical engineering, mechanical engineering, civil engineering used to come and play. So that ignited the technology spark in me when I was a child. And on the topmost, that is me as a kid, and maybe 6-year-old, that's my brother, that is my mother. So this picture I want to show you because my brother was 8 years elder to me. Now we were there in Rajpura, Indo-Nepal border. In the 1990s, there was only one school till 8th class, and even that used to run with the help of support from the military, which was stationed at the Indo-Nepal border. So a family of 4 was happy, but then my brother grew up, he went into 9th class, and there was no school in that area. So our family found grief at that kind of celebration that happened because my brother was sent back to Delhi to start his 9th class and further up to the 10th. Now my mother used to juggle between Kharchula and Delhi, having 2 kids. One is in like nursery, LKG, UKG, B, and my brother was preparing for his board exams. So what used to happen? My mother was mostly there concentrating on my brother because he was in his 10th class. And I was crying there in Kharchula saying, why should I sacrifice? I'm not able to attend the school. I'm not able to go and study. I don't was worried about the school at that time. And what happened there, even though we all know about competition, right? We are, of course, regular exams to enter college right now. But competition was there in the 1990s with the university as well. So, the other students, the primary students, they did not used to share their classroom notes with me because they were just thinking that this girl does not come to school because she's mostly in Delhi and they should talk to us. So they stopped sharing notes with me. And I saw my mother very sad because there was no syllabus for me to study. And then I just saw my mother's face and I realized, it's okay, Mama. Even though I don't have a designated syllabus, I will prepare the complete chapter. I will prepare the complete topic. That was the mindset which I don't want to keep from a 5-year-old kid who cannot rely on the syllabus. So now you are entering into the engineering field, you will be thinking, okay, first semester, what is the syllabus? The biggest exam. Normal questions I will ask 10-year question papers, 5-year question papers, or maybe last semester. So you will be searching for notes for exam papers that were there previous semester back. Of course, we all do. Even I did it in my engineering. But once you would enter the corporate, you would realize that such kind of syllabuses, they don't happen. Now I'm working in optical networking engineering today. The problems that I get, they just go in a variety of fields such as even routing, such as even manageability, observability, or the not core interfaces, anywhere. So your syllabus, you might be thinking about that I'll cover the syllabus today, but just keep it in your mind and form a habit that your syllabus is just a flow. Don't make it your ceiling. Whenever you get a new concept to learn in your engineering, go deep down, understand every bit of it, because out there, once you leave this college, you can be asked to solve any kind of problem. So just brace yourself and prepare about that once you are there in your 4 years of engineering as well. Okay, now how many of you have seen this kind of a picture on the right? STD, ISD, PCO booths. So in the 90s, we did not have like usual mobile phones. We had a topics all the time. So as I was living in March, as a 5-year-old, my brother was in Delhi. He used to walk like 4 or 5 kilometers just to reach a PCO booth to make a phone call in Delhi. Now I was thinking that why can't we have communication which is faster, which is cheaper, not waiting and going on so many lines to just make a phone call. And that time I did not know that I will be graduating in engineering in network and communication, and I will be designing and working upon optical line terminals, optical amplifiers, and submarine optical networking that you see on the right side. Now, what kind of this picture appear to you? Tell me, how does it look like to you? The global map and all kinds of colored lines. So what are these? I was telling you about the optical fiber cables that are there on the ocean bed. So what are these things, these lines which you see? You can relate to what I just told you. So these lines are actually submarine optical fiber cables which are there in the world today. This is how you are connected from Delhi to a person in Canada, in Australia, or in the Middle East with the help of submarine optical fiber cables. And more than 99% of the intercontinental communication that happens today happens with the help of these optical fiber cables, which are there connecting all the different continents. And all the hyperscalers today, like Meta or Google, they're even building their own submarine optical fiber cables because that is a huge kind of networking demand that we are having for the AI workloads. Now, any one of you would you like to make a guess? What is the longest length of the submarine optical fiber cable today? So it spans across continents. Any guesses? The longest submarine optical fiber cable today, what is its length? We can just take some wild guesses. 800 kilometers. So how many kilometers? Any guesses? Longest. It spans across continents. It connects one continent to another. It touches maybe 4 to 5 continents. Any kind of guesses for the length of the longest submarine optical fiber cable? Okay, so the answers from 2000, 20,000, 1 lakh. So I think you need to answer all kind of name and things. Okay, so I say it is not 1 lakh, it is lesser than that, and it's more than 20,000. Now look at this. So the Google is happening. How many years we suppose the answer? Maybe just Google is like, okay, we get this. So it's like, yeah. So it's close to 45,000 long submarine optical fiber cable that would be touching across continents. Now, is it so easy to send data from one place to another? It would be attenuated. And that's why we have optical amplifiers which are there throughout this path. Now, how would these optical amplifiers work? What are they? There's some kind of hardware, some kind of machines that are there. And how would these machines work? With the help of engineering, with the help of embedded engineering. So anyone even who is in CS, you will be having some kind of subject where you will be going closer to the firmware, to the hardware, to the surface sense systems, to the analog communication subjects, the digital application, you will understand how the different kinds of chips on a hardware board are connected. And so talking about submarine, like submarine optical fiber cables or the optical amplifier, but why go that far? Even in your mobile phone, you have all those kind of chipsets. Not 90% instead. So if you would ever go and work in foreign home, you would Snapdragon processor, where you would be working on device drivers. Where you would be working on user space device drivers and kernel device drivers. So that is all you would come to know about your operating system subjects, which you would go further in your engineering field. So similar kind of device drivers is what I used to work at in the previous company CNF, which is one of the companies which is building optical fiber communications, OAS systems and optical line systems, transponders, where we work upon embedded systems to make these optical communications possible. And today the world is moving towards multi-rail and hyper-rail kind of solutions. Because how these optical systems used to work, they were working for a normal kind of traffic, like just use some students moving over and that video conferencing. But today, we need to prepare for AI workloads that cannot happen with the help of engineering solutions that we have today. So that is why the industry is moving towards building multi-rail and hyper-rail solutions to save the space, to save on power, to have sustainable solutions in the world driven by AI agents. These are some of the points that we have covered till now. First one is your STEM spark and go looking for a specific personal moment where the technology mattered to you. So just close your eyes for a minute and think about why you decided to enter the technology field. When did you realize that you have to go in a field of STEM? Whether it was in your 7th grade or 8th grade, or maybe when you were thinking about a career, whether you want to go into engineering or medicine. So just close your eyes for like few seconds and realize what was that unique moment for you when you realized that you would want to go into a field for engineering. And if any one of you are able to witness that rolling in front of your eyes, just raise your hand. Why did you enter? Why did you choose engineering? Why did you want to go into technology? This is the second day today, and we cannot go past through 4 years of engineering, BTech, or EdTech without knowing what is our spark, what drives us to be in the technology field. So every one of you realize your purpose, that what brings you so close to the world of engineering. So any one of you would like to share when did they realize that they wanted to be in the engineering field? Or just raise your hand if you know. I just see 4 or 5 hands raised up. Others, did you just enter by chance or did you get a time when you thought, okay, I think we will do the same campus let's go. Is it so? I should have all the hands raised up because everyone should know why they entered engineering in the first place. I can see some girls who are just clearing their hair. This is not what I want to look at. Everyone. Okay. If you don't realize why you entered engineering in the first place, the 4 years ahead of you might become tough. Because you will not be able to enjoy the marvels of the different subjects that are going okay. So I leave you to that because every one of you just realize deeper that what was the time in your childhood or in your school when you realized that you wanted to be close to technology. And the other is that treat your syllabus as the floor, not the ceiling, because syllabus is only meant for purposes, not out of here. So prepare deeply, prepare about every concept when you are there outside in the world. Now the other part that I'm going to share with you is be multi-dimensional. So what do you understand by that word? You're thinking you're just made of matter, how many dimensions we have? So now you have entered your college. One of your dimension is I'm basically an engineer, engineer studying about all the languages and everything. And just wanted to make it clear with the AI thing which is out there in the market, coding languages are stopping to matter now because AI is writing the code for us. And we are doing that. We see that every day. So you need to know the logic again, you need to know the algorithms, but syntaxes they don't matter that much now because we have AI coding agents. But that does not mean that you don't like to code yourselves. You need to, because you will not understand what AI has written for you if you just rely on that agent coding for you. So with that, one dimension of yours is engineering. What is your other dimension? Are you only an engineer? Maybe someone of you would be a waiter, would be a dancer, would be a singer, would like dramatics. Is there anyone who has such kind of hobbies? Raise your hands. Okay, yeah. Now I can see some other dimensions of yours popping up. So engineering is one thing we all need to learn and love technology. That's fine as sense part. But apart from that, we need to be multi-dimensional. And how does that occur? So now, right now in the end of the college, you would come to know about the various societies that are there in the college itself. Maybe you would have already been told about that. I think there would be some kind of dramatic society or dance society or singing place area or somewhere out there in the debate club. Now, if you just keep on starting, you would move on the other dimension of yours. So, I just want to say here that college is a beautiful time to be had. You will find your friends there who will be lifelong. Like some of my friends are from my college years only, about 18 years of friendship. So, you make wonderful friends here. So, you need to add other dimensions to yourselves. And even if you wouldn't have had such kind of extracurricular when you were in school, you can go and join the different kinds of societies there. Because just don't think that out there in the offices they don't matter. They do matter. Because what happened with me? When I came back from Arjuna to Delhi, I started going on the stage. And that was the part that I loved the most. My teacher, she sent me to the stage in third class. And I was speaking there on the mic and my breath would be gone. So I just started being scared of the stage at that time. But after that, I went to several stages to competitions on the national level, science level presentations, working on magnetic levitation trains as a student. And then that aspect of my personality, which was once a dimension, showed up in the college itself. And then I started going to different kind of colleges in the university, winning tickets in NSIP, like now it's university only, but out there at that time, that was one of the engineering colleges like NSIP, BC. I used to go there, participate in drama competitions, in debate competitions, and I used to win prizes. So that was another dimension of my personality. And there are several kinds of competitions, dance, music sections also. So apart from the engineering and the learning group that you are there, go and participate in the different kinds of societies that is there. But don't forget that technology is the first place that got us here. And we need to have a complete focus on that. But apart from that, we also need to hold a different kind of features, which makes us an all-round personality. The other thing that I would want to tell you is, show for a cause you believe in. So are you all, is any one of you passionate about anything else apart from technology? I see your hand going up. Would you like to speak up? What kind of thing you're passionate about? Just from there. Sorry? Design. Maybe just forget. Sorry, I'm not going to listen. Just few words. So why I'm asking all of you that you need to find your passion. Yes.
Okay.
A washing machine cannot tell how you should use it. But if you design it in a way that users automatically know what to do with it and how to operate with it, and make technology accessible even for those who do not understand technology that much, and they can do. So it can get better if you design it well. So I think human-centered design is not.
Yeah. I know it. That's a wonderful topic that you share. So, what's the name? Bhavna. So thank you, Bhavna. So thank you, Bhavna, for sharing that. So human-centered design. Now I'm talking about technology. Maybe you will be finding it complex here. But when we work with technology for our customers, like if we're building solution for a customer, one of the first foremost thing that we want to do is to make it simple. Because we as engineers, we understand technology, we are able to use it. But for products that we are making it out for the customers, we don't understand the tech as we do. So one of the most important engineering principle is to make it simple. So that is one of the point that Bhavna was even sharing to make the design system simple. So yeah, so I was saying that if you have a course that you believe in, just invest your time in it so that you can work upon it in your college and even further after you join the corporate. Okay, now what do you understand by this vision? The books hovering over our head. So these are the voices in our head. Maybe when I ask this question, several one of you wanted to speak up like Bhavna did. But maybe you just get that thought to yourself because there will be multiple voices in your head who would be thinking that should I get up and speak in front of all the new joinees, all the different kind of students here. So that becomes the voices in our head. And these crop up every time, even when you are in college or when you go to the corporate. You have to speak up in a meeting. You have to bring forth a point. But you will be thinking that okay, the people there out in the meeting are all 25 years of experience. So will the point of a fresher be valuable then? So those kind of voices in our head are the ones that stop us from making our point out in the world. So I just use this picture that you have to be courageous. Confidence will come later when you keep on doing the things repeatedly. You will be confident enough and you will be able to ace it. But before that, you need to find the courage to speak up the things that you know, to ask the questions that are coming in your mind so that you achieve the utmost clarity in understanding your subject or in talking with your peers or your seniors in the work. So the word for one of this picture is imposter syndrome. And it has been studied that it occurs in women more than it occurs in men. Because we women are kind of, as we say, overachievers. We tend to perfect ourselves before speaking. And that's where this imposter syndrome comes. Because we keep on thinking, what will others think? So just be courageous and drop that thought and speak up. Whenever you want to make a point with your teachers, whenever you want to bring forth your diverse perspective, bring it, be courageous and be confident and just get rid of the syndrome without even knowing about this word when you go out there and out in the world. Okay, so be curious is something which everyone of you need to do when you are in engineering. So why do I say that you need to be curious? Okay, in the engineering exams when you are learning, you say that okay, be curious because you want to learn about the different kind of computer engineering subjects that you have. But when you are out there in the organization, if you are dissatisfied with how the things are working, if you're curious enough and you think that no, this can be improved, the protocol out there can be designed further to include these things as well. So if you are dissatisfied long enough, you will find ways to improve that thing. So, and that would make you further when you keep on having that kind of a practice in your mind, you can think of even filing your patents and be an inventor. So I filed patents because I was curious enough to think that why the Wi-Fi communication is happening in the state, why power over Ethernet cannot work to have more subscribers. So such kind of a thing, when we question the status quo, we can work further, team up, think about our questions, discuss it with our seniors, and finally go over the path to even become an inventor. So you would be no longer just an engineer, you would even have the ability title of inventor beside you after you would have filed your old patents. But for that, you need to be curious enough. Okay, so another part of technology that I would like to share with you is a case study of planet farms. Any one of you have heard about this? So it's related to agriculture, to farming. You will be reading on the slide, okay, what is it? So how the farming happens in India? All the fields, whether it is soil, water, irrigation, but Planet Farms is one of the companies closer to Milan who have revolutionized the entire agriculture with the help of their vertical farming. And they don't rely on farmers coming out there. They are only relying on robots and machines who are doing everything from planting the seeds to keeping the products in a finished form and making it available to the consumers. And everything is of that in that agricultural field about 20,000 square meters factory site is a smart factory. The agriculture is happening there closer to Milan. But how is that possible? How are those robots able to communicate with each other and even to make agricultural vertical farming so well? So for even the robots to communicate with each other, they need connectivity. So what uses there is a make before break. So even if the robots they are moving from one networking point to another, from one access point to another, the connections are made before they are broken, rather than make before break technology. So we use that in Planet Farm, which is a Cisco ultra reliable wireless backhaul solution which establishes a dependable wireless network for the robots that communicate to each other so that they're able to manage this farming so well. So first, the agricultural produce there is the ones that can be grown without a lot of human intervention, but these products are going out there in the fields getting purchased by the customers without any middlemen involved. with the help of robots. And they communicate with each other with the help of technology that is being designed as the ultra reliable, low latency communication. Another case study that I would like to share with you is about Audi. So, how many of you know about this? Anyone would know about this now? How many of you want to own it? Why so many listeners? Who would not want to drive Audi themselves? Of course, if you don't want to drive it, hire a driver, and like that, driver would be so happy because this is one of the most luxurious cars that is out there. Now, it can be 100 years old company, and now even they are revolutionizing the way the Audi plants are working. So the PLCs that are there, the programmable logic controllers, in the Audi families, they are becoming virtualized. Because the machine that is to manage those PLCs, that is moving farther from the AGVs, the automated guided vehicles, to an in-house parent cloud center to they manage this. So everything in the Audi is also becoming virtualized, and this is becoming a smart factory which is using edge cloud for production technique. So the question that I asked, who would want to drive an Audi? Everyone should have raised their hand because that is what we dream about, right? It is only to just slowly like 4 years of engineering without thinking about the luxury like maybe you would want, but that is not kind of place. So this is one of the things about Audi that I wanted to share with you, that it has virtualized hundreds of IPC workstations. Now these are, what can you see that screen? Racing, sports car, autonomous vehicles. So the sports car and the driverless cars that are working today are also happening with the help of edge computing. Because suppose the driver is not there, you just want to communicate and talk about the obstacle ahead. If the networking is not fast enough, the cars would just bump into each other and would move. So for the driverless cars to work at all, the technology called edge computing happens to communicate all the decision factors faster for edge cloud, and the decision is transformed back to the car so that they can be made in ultra low latency times that we don't need any accidents that happen in these autonomous vehicles, driverless cars, or even in the sports cars. Like McLaren uses Cisco technology for their racing cars. Now, as we are reaching on time as well, I have this quote to share with you. But before that, today is our second day of entering college. Was that an easy path for all of you? Yes or no? Was that easy to enter this college and sitting here? Of course no. You struggled hard, you studied throughout your school life, maybe it was competitive exams. But when you are studying out there in this field, you need to realize what we owe our previous generation. Now, if you think about my mother, she was a scholar in her time. But because she has to leave her job just to travel along with my father, because he used to get transfers to hydroelectric power stations in remote corners of India, she could not continue her career. But she ensured that I received the best of education and every rise in my career. Same here with your parents, with your families, they would have supported you that you are here today, studying in the college. So I just want to say, oh, it was previous generations. They did not have the times like we had, but they struggled enough. They made their mark in whatever capacity they could, but they paved our way for all of us to be present in this hall today as students. So we owe to our previous generation that we utilize this engineering time and college time wisely to move ahead to carve our own path. And we also need to carve way for the future generations ahead of us so the times are even better than what you all would share with you is that through my career in life, I meet 6 honest serving men. They taught me all I knew. Their names are what and why and when, and how and where and who. So these are 6 kind of questions. If you will ask such kind of questions, you will understand everything in the world, every concept in the world, not just your own subject, the subjects of other streams even, and whenever you go out there in the corporate, just ensure that you keep these 6 words to yourself. I have been following all of this since I was a kid, and I want to pass that on to you. So this is one of the most important things to be curious further. And here, as we come to our close, I would like to share with you few of the words that when you will go out there in the corporate and maybe you will meet again in one of the women tech forums or out there discussing technology on LinkedIn or any other forum, I just want to share this few lines with you. As a fledgling so eager that when I learned to fly, no skies were too high. So you are just a bird head and you are opening your wings and you have to move your wings so dramatically, so far enough that no sky would be high for you. And then you would go around and look back at me or up to your teachers out there when you would be there in the corporate world. Our eyes would be just filled with so much pride looking at what you all have achieved in the years to come. So just make every one of us proud, make yourself proud, make your parents proud, and have a wonderful engineering days, wonderful college days for all the people who goes back and the PG students. So thank you so much, and you can connect with me on LinkedIn and we can debate over any kind of technology topics that you would want to have your days dedicated. So thank you all, thank you to the teachers, and thank you everyone for practice the appointments today. Thank you to the campus.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for those insightful and inspiring words. I am sure our students will carry these insights with them as they begin this new chapter of their journey. And now, moving forward, I would like to invite Professor SRN Reddy, Sir, HOD of CSE Department, to introduce our next distinguished personality with us, whose remarkable experience and expertise in technology and innovation make him a wonderful source of knowledge and inspiration for our students.
Yeah, good evening. Am I audible? So I request the students, please be seated. Hello. So thank you very much, ma'am, Richa, for a nice introduction and nice beginning of our induction program. On behalf of IGTTW, we sincerely thanks for your taking time. So it is my responsibility now to introduce the another expert, Kishore Narang sir, whom I know when I was a student doing PhD at Embedded Systems from JNU. Any conferences, workshops I've been attending, he was the one who troubles the speaker. So I thought of troubling him. So I've been continued for last 25 years, and therefore he is here. So let's have a big round of claps and nothing more than the introduction. And he's been developed so many embedded IoT products, delivered his product services to the so many MNCs, and he's been instrumental in establishing the IoT embedded lab for last 25 years since here in IGDTW. And I'm sure that what Madam Richa has been spoken, you could see in our laboratories and some of them as a services, some of the products that has been delivered to the industry as a result of your senior students. So now let's welcome with a big round of applause to Professor Narang Kishore sir, Director of Nornex Technologies and Product Designer, Hardware, Software and Application Development, over 40 years of experience. Thank you, sir. So I've been I know him and we invite and we've been taking the mentorship from with his experiences where many speakers spoke about the product designs, but the reality is that you could work with his labs. So lot of students has been taken the opportunity to work with him in some of the product designs where they talk about from resistors to the capacitors and ICs to the 4G, 5G communication, what Madam talked about, the fiber optics and wireless technologies and smart cities framework and IEEE standards for smart cities, where Narang sir was instrumental in developing. And I learned during my PhDs, not from my university, rather from him. So I also work along with my teaching career here. Whenever I visited his lab, he only says that, Professor Reddy, you don't know anything in the product design. You learn from me. So you try to criticize, but I take that as an opportunity. A teacher who criticizes to know better and to answer better and make his path, your path better. And that is the spirit with him. So we continued his journey, mentorship, and he has been instrumental in a lot of curriculum designs and some of the products that has been delivered from the lab to the industry. We get it reviewed from him. And always he is kind enough to share his expertise, to share his knowledge. And a lot of students of IGTT, especially CSC and EC department, worked in his labs during last 10, 15 years and learned, and they've been working. And some of the faculty also worked with him to know better practical knowledge, playing with the components, circuits, building the embedded firmware. And engineering is not that, computer engineering is not that only writing the application. You need to speak to the logic gates and you need to understand the behavior of those logic gates. And then definitely the engineering has a true spirit of computer science. And otherwise the electronic students and IT students and all mechanical students, even the product design ultimately reaches to the end users, should have the entire knowledge of combinations. And therefore, I request Professor Narang sir to take his charge. So let me take some more things that has been done. So I wanted to see that we learned one of the big concepts like being a computer engineering. What is a computer? Can Madam said that 6 whys. So as a teacher, I always been following ma'am. So can I able to teach them practically? Can I practice them? Can I develop them? Can I see? Can I make? So you should make that. Can I see the concepts in reality? And that shows us, can I able to build a computer? And what is that is all required? So we start with in computer science, and of course electronic students and all of you can utilize those capabilities which we have created in the lab, where any student, if I ask you that, can you able to build your own computer? And what should be the cost? What is the ecosystem that is required? So we say that it's hardly a matter of 500 rupees, which we learned from Narang sir, wherein you speak about your operating system, you speak about the sensors, you speak about other communication systems, you speak about all the architectures of processors. You could able to experiment, practice, and I'm sure that we expertise in the process of learning electronics, computer science. I'm sure that except mechanical to an extent, even now mechanical, you have the robotics and artificial intelligence. So keeping in mind almost all the circuit branches which we have in the university, they could able to make their product designs and development from the scratch. Where can you able to make my computer? Meaning that is, you sketch, you architect, and it should listen to you, and it should perform the task that you wanted to show to the world, and take these computers to show your parents. I think that is what we do it in the first 2 years. And I'm sure, ma'am, we have courses like IoT, advanced IoT, mobile application development, web application development, and skill-oriented courses that really makes you a comfort in doing things. Like madams talked about driverless cars, autonomous vehicles, 4G, 5G communications, most of the concepts you can touch and feel and use it in the course of 4 years. And the students are almost welcome to take this journey. Now, I request all of you, let's have a big round of applause to invite Narang sir. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Good afternoon. So class of 2030, that's what you are? Okay, welcome to IGTW. For me, it has been not my first visit and hopefully not the last. I've been coming here since my childhood. You know why? This campus it's a heritage campus. How many people know the heritage of this campus? Okay, tell me, when did the heritage journey of this campus start? Any idea? Some tentative idea. Yeah, please go ahead. Which year? Which year? 19? No. I'm talking about campus, not the institute. Institute did start in 98, absolutely. But this campus happens to be the foundation of engineering and lot many other discipline colleges for Delhi. Do you know that? The campus was established as Delhi Polytechnic in 1941 with a diploma in all the engineering disciplines. Okay, in 60s, it became Delhi College of Engineering. But before that, even just for information, the School of Planning and Architecture was an offshoot of this heritage campus. College of Art was heritage of this. Even the IIT Delhi, Haas had the initial discipline, the chemical and the mechanical, all these civil, they started from this campus, this area. So I think you must be proud that you are in a very august and very, very interesting heritage journey. Yeah, okay. So let's go in the slideshow mode. Shift this down. Can you move this fan down? Yes, thank you. You can minimize it from there. Left. Yeah, okay, fair enough. No, अरे कहाँ उधर ही ले जाइए यार. उधर जाइए वहाँ से उसको minimize करना. ये minimize है ना? Minimize. ये इसको click करिए. Minimize को. चलिए ठीक. Okay. Oh, let's start. यहाँ से करना पड़ेगा. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So let's start now. Sorry for all this technical fuck up. We are trying to become engineers, okay? And we're dealing with all the latest cutting edge technologies. And you see, we still always fumble with the basic technologies, isn't it? Isn't it funny? And we call ourselves engineers. So I'll come to that a bit later, but I think let's start with. So you must be thinking what I'm trying to talk. Architects of the unbuilt and reimagining what it means to engineer. What I'm going to talk about, because so let me tell you, I'm an electronics engineer from the ancient era. Can you imagine when did I pass out? 77. Okay, so in my college, during my engineering, what I was taught? I was taught how to design amplifiers and oscillators using vacuum tubes. So that's why I can rightfully call myself an engineer from ancient era. And today, I'm designing product system solutions for the aerospace, defense, automotive, and whatever different domains, using all heterogeneous multi-core SoCs from NVIDIA's and all those, Qualcomm's and all that based on chips. So what does it mean? Technology does not stop. It keeps on evolving. Are we ready to continue to evolve? If you have got into this profession, into this domain, you will have to continue to evolve to survive today. Okay, otherwise, most of my own batchmates, college batchmates, they are retired, and we have WhatsApp group where we have all those kind of religious this thing or stupid politics and whatever, all the bullshit that you see in the WhatsApp groups. So, but I'm the only guy who is busy rather than attending or responding to my WhatsApp group from my college back. Why? Because I'm so busy enjoying my learning even at this age of 70 years that it doesn't, it doesn't stop exciting me. So what are we talking? We are talking about engineering and engineers and what are we here for? So my question to you is, when people ask you over the next 4 years what you are doing with your life, you're going to be tempted to give them a very standard, respectable answer. You're going to say, I'm studying computer science, or I'm studying electronics, or doing AI, or doing architecture, or doing mechanical, robotics, whatever at IGDTW, isn't it? Is that not going to be the standard answer? I think we need to learn to change that, stop that. I want you to completely delete that sentence from your vocabulary. Okay? You're not here to study engineering. Can you agree with me or not? Nobody would agree. So let me tell you why I'm saying that. You are here to become an engineer. There's a profound difference between studying engineering and trying to become an engineer. A student consumes knowledge to pass an exam. An engineer takes raw science, human needs, and real world constraints and builds things that didn't exist yesterday. That's what we are supposed to learn. So when someone asks you now what you are doing here, look at them in their eyes and say, I'm an engineer in training and I'm learning how to build the future. Does that make sense now? So are you going to say I'm studying engineering? I'm here to study engineering? No. We are training to become an engineer, to build the future. We are the people who design the future for the society. All the bridges, all the technology that you see, they're all done by engineers. Even for the doctors, all the medical instruments on which they do the research and all the treatments and all those surgeries and diagnosis, who has done them? We engineers, the mechanical part, the electrical part, the electronics part, the embedded, the software, hardware, whatever, sensor part. It's we engineers, we do it. So take a bow, enjoy, take a pride in it, and go ahead. But another thing which I would like to acknowledge today, I know what it took you to sit in these seats today. I know about the endless JEE preparation cycles, the late night mock tests, and the stacks of coaching modules, the family expectation, and that persistent knot in your stomach asking whether all that sacrifice would be worth it. You have made it. You cross the finish line, take a deep breath, and let that sink in. You earned your seat in this room. Am I right? You have really earned it. It's not come by bonus. Okay? Even quotas have to work hard. But here is the secret no one tells you at high school graduation. Getting into a IGTTU was not the peak of your mountain. It was simply the ticket that gets you into the arena. You have to go up the mountain. Up until today, your education has been a game of optimization. You were given a problem with one neat answer at the back of a textbook, and your job was to find it faster than everyone else. But the real world does not work on multiple choice questions. The real world is messy, interconnected, and unpredictable. The problem you will solve over the next 4 years and over the next 4 decades don't have answer keys. And that's what brings me. So today onwards, you are not looking towards any answer keys. You have to transition from the rank holders that you are, which brought you here today, to system builders. You have to build systems. You have to build this thing. Okay, you have, and talking about your campus, I think I already talked. You have entered a campus that is a proven, crucible for tech leadership. Look around this auditorium. Look at the women sitting to your left and right. This university has sent creators, researchers, founders, and innovators to every corner of the global technology ecosystem. They are building critical digital public platforms, designing next generation communications, architecting green infrastructure, shaping international standards. You are not here to fill diversity quota in the tech industry. You are here because the world's most complex engineering problems cannot and will not be solved without your perspective, your rigor, and your ambition. So, are you ready? Okay, so let's look at what do we have in the future for us? Let's see where are we getting into. Can you see this complex graphics? This collage. What I'm going to talk about first is sustainability versus digitalization, a dichotomy or a paradox. And this is the world we live in today. And we'll delve into that. We always talk about we are a society, and we have seen the history of mankind from hunters-gatherer society to simply, simple agriculture, advanced agriculture, industrial, and today we are talking about all digital and connected society. But whatever we say, we all need to be very, very sustainable, very, very resilient, and very complex. What are the lifelines? Earlier, our lifelines were two things, air and water. Today, our lifelines are connectivity and electricity. Am I right? Without them, you cannot even imagine your life. And this is the evolution we as a mankind have achieved today. And is this what we expected? As the man or the human species grew, what has happened to the environment? You can see that. Nature no longer runs the earth. We do, and climate is not politically strong enough to fight the carbon by itself. What do you see here? All disruptive technologies. And we have to understand the future of life on earth in context of these disruptive technologies. Okay, it has been observed that technologies developed by human beings in the last 2-3 centuries had a major impact on Earth's climate and nature's equilibrium. Some believe that we have reached a point of no return. This can have a huge impact on life on Earth, especially on human species. However, while technology has been responsible for most of it, technology also seems to have solutions for it. It is increasingly clear that today's environmental conditions are not sustainable. Over the past few decades, we have made huge progress fighting disease, poverty, and literacy. Now we must apply the same ingenuity to the problem of global warming and other consequences of human activity. And these were the two things which you're talking. During COVID, I think we realized these two things. I'll tell you why. During COVID, we realized that digitalization came to our rescue of the mankind to give us continuity of our social life, our professional life, our industrial life, even to conduct the research at a vast speed and develop vaccines and address all kind of, business, commercial, industrial, all activities and all that. But all the same, we also saw when the whole world was under lockdown in the first few months, we saw how our gray sky started turning blue. We started hearing the chirping of the birds in our concrete jungles of cities. And all these things, the ozone layer started filling up. This was because the human activity had stopped for some time. And that's what gave us a feedback that all that problem that we are facing is all because of human activity. But anyway, as I mentioned, if we have done it, we can also solve it also. And disruption has been there everywhere. And automation and sustainability are two things which we are trying to adopt for bringing different solutions in the society. Everybody talks about disruption, disruptive innovation. But what are disruptive technologies and what are most profound technologies? Disruptive technology is the bearer of tremendous opportunity and equally a harbinger of obsolescence. And I'll tell you why I'm talking about these things. They have a very foundational connection with your profession. Today, tomorrow, day after. You need to understand what is the difference between disruptive and profound technologies. So technology's impact on society and business is substantial, if not underestimated. The product cycle times are accelerating. The underlying technologies unfold over many, many years. Within each trend, there are multiple enabling technologies, all at various stages of maturity and adoption. And the most profound technologies are those that disappear. Can technology disappear? Any idea? And I'm saying most profound technologies are those that disappear. they disappear because they weave themselves into the fabric of everyday life until they are indistinguishable from our. And let me give you a few examples. One of the this thing. So among the earliest disruptive technologies were maybe you can say steam engine and all that, and then maybe going for gears, machines, now electricity and internet, and all the electricity and internet, they have turned from disruptive to profound. Do you even question the availability of electricity today or internet? Can you survive without that? They have become part of our life. But today, if there's a blackout or there's an internet down, how does it disrupt our life? Isn't it? We just go berserk. What is happening? Why is it so? What is the government doing? Whatever is, or whoever is responsible for it. So I think these are the kind of technologies that we are dealing with today. And to give you an example of disruptive to profound, AI is a very good example. AI, as you might have heard, has been around for last 30, 40, 50 years. But it started proliferating since 2010 because of different technologies evolving. The availability of big data from many sources, dramatically improved machine learning approaches and algorithms, and the capabilities of more powerful computers. And of course, the high bandwidth communication infrastructure also being available. And that's what brought it. And artificial today has reached this kind of a level that you can see the robo repairing itself. So let's take a very quick look. I don't have much time for that, but just a quick look into what kind of technology we are looking at, and I can have side discussion on any of these in depth because I'm quite. Space tourism is already here. We could see all the drone delivery we have been talking, but we have not been seeing in particular in India. There have been only pilots yet for deliveries on the drone. Hyperloop could take us between the cities very quickly. Space trip designed to send people to Mars. We already have seen space travel. Even tourism, space tourism is already here. Then virtual reality could replace our textbooks during the next decade. The smartphones will become obsolete by 2025. They will become part of body wearables and all that. Okay, so super tall buildings could become like mini cities in next couple of years, a couple of decades rather. We could rely entirely on renewable energy by year 2050. Biotech is already at the forefront of superhumans because of the biodigital convergence. Human augmentation. All this automation is adding to that. Machines could start thinking. Prosthetics could go so advanced that in the next 10 years that they could give people new skills and new physical capabilities. And then we could live in a matrix like virtual world, and people could also become cyborgs by 2045. Hyper-automation is already on the rise. Autonomous things are already there. Internet of robotic things we have been talking. Low altitude economy, all these drones and all these, balloons and all that you see about internet access and everything. Edge computing, I think, was just talked. Artificial intelligence is already here, and we are very quickly reaching towards singularity. Web 3.0 is already here. Metaverse is here. 1G to 6G cellular, we have a 5G and working towards 6G, which would be here by 2030. And these are some of the, so what we are looking at, future architecture of the networks. One network, diverse use cases, and the capabilities are increasing day by day of the networks. And I do not have time to go into details, but I would love to deep dive into each and every slide, if possible. Future digital infrastructure is a very, very complex combination. It is no more a simple digital infrastructure. It's a combination of data, computing network, computing power, intelligence, and serving all kind of stakeholders, be it individuals, organizations, or families. And 5G, as I mentioned, is only the beginning, the Carl Benz automobile of the internet. Why? Because 6G, and this was just set the foundation. It was generation of many first, but much remains to be completed. We started with massive broadband, cloud native, pervasive connectivity, open and programmable networks, autonomic network, and time-sensitive communication. And in 6G, we are looking at much more expectations, automated driving, guided surgery, all immersive experiences, Industry 4, rather 5.0 now we are talking. And basically 6G is all towards all about path towards universal autonomy and looking at different mega trends that we are talking about, AI everywhere, transparently immersive experiences, and digital platforms, whether it is 5G, digital twin, edge computing, or blockchain, or neuromorphic hardwares, etc. And these are some of the diverse disruptive technology trends that are very much evident. And you will have to deal with all of this. Why I'm showing you these was, be prepared to dirty your hands with all these things in next 4 years itself before you get out of the college. And if you are lucky to not needed to dirty your hands in the college, you can bet your life that once you get out of the college, you will have to dabble with some of these technologies or the other. There are a lot of issues, but I think let me get to straight away to one of the very interesting things. Climate change we have been talking about, am I right? Everybody talking about climate change today. And what is the myth? We are all facing the same storm, am I right? That's what everybody says. But I think there's a misconception. What is the fact? The reality is, storm is same, but different people are in different boats. People who are in larger boats or ships, they are much more secure. They are impacted much less. It's the people down this thing who are dealing with, who are living in small boats, they are the people who are most impacted. Climate change has exactly the same. The bottom of the pyramid in the society is the most vulnerable people from the climate change. So can we leverage technology to help them? Then anyway, I'll not bore you with this. This is more of a philosophical thing. But what is the fundamental problem? Fundamental problem, when anybody talks about the climate change, we are trying to fix a stock problem, accumulation of carbon over last couple of centuries with future flow instruments. It's like thinking of a bathtub about to overflow. The last cup may tip it over, but the problem was not that last cup. We have been filling it up for last 2 centuries minimum. So we need a more holistic understanding about climate change problem than trying to, just blame the last cup and trying to stop that. And these are some aspects. I'll be sharing this slide deck with the, it's been already shared with the institute, and you are most welcome to deep dive into all these points. And the question, whenever we talk about climate change, this is a question everybody says, can we solve it? Of course, we can solve it. The only thing is, we can't solve it in next 10, 20 years. But once we start controlling our emissions, we try to maybe even out, okay, and then we can start improving on the situation also. But it's a slow, long, and painful journey, and the mankind will have to get together, and all your engineering skills and multidisciplinary skills will come in this thing. And we need to learn from our past mistakes. Otherwise, history always repeats itself. A lot of examples of past failures to consider environmental consequences like semiconductor industry, metal solvents, synthetic chemicals, application of natural compounds, and transportation, energy, air pollution, global warming, nuclear waste, etc. This is a concept I think you may not understand, but let me just touch a bit. That changing the way we look at the environment. Why I'm touching, you may not understand all of this today. Try to look it up somewhere and you'll find your answer, what exactly we are trying. And these are important issues that I'm raising today for your benefit and just to give you triggers. I don't want you to understand them today. It is not humanly possible because these are some of the things you might not have seen till now. But so what we are trying to talk about is, when we talk about sustainability, we talk about it's all about these 3 aspects and there's overlapping. What we are talking, the new model of sustainability talks about nested dependency model. We say that economy and society can only survive if you have a vibrant and dynamic and thriving environment and biosphere. So we need to work towards first ensure that planet is protected, okay, and so that we can survive, grow as socially, economically, and all that. So these are some of the thoughts about the principle of sustainable development. But as an engineer, sustainable design is important. Now, what does it mean? Sustainable design, because it can mitigate climate change. Sustainable design can help reduce loss of natural habitats and the biodiversity. It can improve human well-being. The World Happiness Report found a strong link between sustainable development and human well-being. Protect the environment, and sustainable design can help protect natural environment for future generations also. And these are some of the sustainable design principles. You can Google it. These are all public domain knowledge. You don't need to read it through this now. And sustainable manufacturing, all the products that we manufacture, how do we make it more sustainable without any waste? And there's a concept called circular economy. I can talk about it offline, which talks about sustainable manufacturing. So what exactly is needed? We are all talking, I don't know how many people have heard about sustainable development goals. Anybody heard about UN SDGs? Oh, good. I'm very happy. I didn't expect that. I'm really proud of you guys. Because in our elite circle, a lot of people say, engineers, we don't care. It is about the environmentalists and all those social thinkers and philosophers. So sustainable development goals are basically toward all the 17 goals. The target is 2030. But are they the goals? No. The way I personally look at it, they are a bridge toward future regenerative cultures. We are right now living in a degenerative culture. We need to move from there towards sustainability and neutral this thing, and then become a restorative and become regenerative. And that is the basic this thing. So SDGs are just a bridge towards the regenerative future that we actually need to target for. And then let's look at the digital form. Everybody was talking about digital transformation, COVID, am I right? And when we talk about from technology point of view, normally people talk about it as an integration of IT and OT. OT is operational technology, industrial automation, SCADA, and all those kind of things that you see in the industries, factories, utilities, and all that. Okay, but I think in digital transformation has a lot more critical components. Network technologies are equally important because they have evolved to very high mature levels that they need due respect and due attention to develop your digital transformation strategy. Then IoT, it is all pervasive. And then the new whiz kid on the block, AI is all pervasive. But one thing when we are looking at digital transformation, nobody's looking at is sustainability. Because when we are adding digital infrastructure, we are not looking at the carbon footprint of the digital infrastructure itself, which we need to look at. So what exactly is digital transformation all about? Sustainability is actually the true destination. Resilience is the core characteristics, and smart is merely an accelerator. Standards, I think we will study as part of engineering curriculum, or maybe if I come, I'll be happy to give a talk on this. Standardization are the chromosomes of digital infrastructure. So digital transformation, what is it all about? Is it a technology? No, it's not a technology. It's a complex paradigm with domain-specific implications. Okay, and we are living in a very transient, very ephemeral world. And let's talk about something which you all learn. We are the rise of digital natives. And it's a very old joke, but I think it's still relevant. The kids asking and mothers responding, no, you were not downloaded, you were born. Okay, and this is the some kind of figures of the $1 trillion digital economy for India, which is already we have crossed. And coming to the buzzword, AI. AI has become the way of life. Any argument? Anybody, any counterpoint? Does anybody disagree? I don't hear anyone. So algorithms decide for every individual today. YouTube decides for us what video to watch. Twitter decides whom to vote for, or vice versa, any other social media for that matter, and other social media tools that decide what to buy. And we are facing an impossible war of human intelligence against artificial intelligence. But the question that I would like to ask, will digital brain have a mind? And the question that we have been discussing at different global forums also. Yes, AI can give you a lot of intelligence, a lot of compute, a lot of calculation, a lot of this thing, smart this thing. But can it give you the wisdom? And that is where I think man will always be superior. And I'll come to my concluding statement on AI. I have done a lot of work for in the last 10 years on AI. And in AI, I think these things are becoming very, very important. The laws of robotics are very important for AI also. Robots must never harm human being or through in action allow a human being to come to harm. AI has already started harming them. Am I right? Law 2, robots must follow instructions from humans without violating rule number 1. And law 3, robots must protect themselves without violating the other rules. These are no more valid, but they are valid for AI, but nobody follows. AI is also valid. So this is something. Now let me show you a small video. I don't know whether the audio works. Can you increase the audio? We have audio. Can you switch on audio? Just give me. Scroll to bring video. Okay. So stop the slide. Not my slide through. Slide. Good. We have already seen the robots and the drones working today in all the Iran, Israel, Ukraine, Russia war. Okay, and see, this is a miniature drone. Can you imagine this happening in this auditorium? Imagine your neighborly country does this. What will happen to us? Or vice versa. So you see, this is a 10-year-old video, by the way. I've been showing since I started talking about AI. Okay, in different conferences and all this. So you can see what it can do, what AI can do. So, and we're talking about super intelligent AI becoming dangerous. Can it become dangerous? Likely, yes. Can super intelligent AI replace human? Possibly, yes. Can we stop creating super intelligent AI? Probably already too late. You can see the way Mythos and other advanced models have been creeping into and doing creating havoc all across the different thing. It will be hard even to identify super intelligence for human when it happens, and we will get poked. So there is nothing artificial in the true artificial intelligence. It's only about silicon versus carbon. It's all about technology, and these are different flavors of different aspects of AI. I thought why I'm talking, because you are all interested in AI. AI has become pervasive. All of you will be dealing with and working with, dirtying your hand with some aspect or the other of AI. Am I right? In next 4 years itself, or you might be already dabbling into it, leveraging it for different things, whether using Claude or whether using Mythos or whatever. Mythos is not publicly available, so maybe not. So these are different aspects of another thing, like shifting technology trend from GPU-centric era. We have moved to ASIC-centric and now neuromorphic chips we're talking about. But still, quite a distance is yet to be covered in this domain. So there's a lot of work yet to be done. So depends on what chosen field you want to pick. You can pick and choose where you want to work in within AI. And there's an AI food chain, right from, I don't need to go through, you already know these things well. But then what I'm very passionate about talking about is ethics of the AI. And there's so many ethical issues: bias, liability, security, human interaction, employment, wealth and inequality, the power and control, and robots' rights, which I talked about, those 3 laws of robotics. And so that's where there's a lot of focus now for last 4 or 5 years on responsible AI. We are looking at how we can make AI more interpretable. We can make it more fair, make it more safe, privacy respecting, and accountability. And there are some different further aspects. You will deal with it. And then what we'll be needing when super intelligent AI comes, it also has to be really responsible. Otherwise, we are doomed as a mankind. Then we already know about agentic AI workflows, how it is orchestrated, automating all the workflows. Okay. But I think what would be interested to you, I think we have some robotics, mechatronics division here. Am I right? Some student might be from there. So I think you will be dabbling into physical AI aspect. AI used for the robotics. Okay, for automation, physical automation, getting into the physical world. Quantum AI, again, another aspect to improve the AI performance. Photonic AI, again, another aspect. Analog AI is another way, another field of research in AI. And these are some kind of, different, AGI chips. We are looking at intelligence through materials. I do not have time. Okay, now this is another favorite topic of mine. What do you see here? A lot of waste. And what material? Mostly plastic waste. Am I right? And half a century after plastic became pervasive, this is where we stand today. Every year we produce so much of plastic and use it. out of the 9 billion tons of plastic that has been produced, we have only been able to safely dispose of about 18% of plastic. The rest is all floating somewhere on this planet, whether in seas, marine life, or like anywhere in the dumps and everywhere. It is coming, microplastics are coming in our drinking water and everything, food and everything. So some people started asking 5-7 years back, is AI also the new plastic? Why? Because the kind of environmental adverse impact it can have, a lot of data crunching, a lot of compute, all generating data overload, a lot of compute power, a lot of heat, a lot of power consumption, and all those aspects. And they ask that whether we'll have to wait for another 50 years from now. No, I don't think. And we are expecting the AI will reach its kind of a boiling point or a catastrophe proportion in next 10, 20 years itself. So what we need to do, and this is a bit details about why we are comparing AI with the plastic. But then what we are doing in AI, when we are using AI, we are riding an AI tiger. Question is, shall we ever be able to tame it? Is it not a dichotomy? And sustainability as an ethical imperative is always talked about, but there are very few and the least number of research papers on ethical aspects of sustainability of AI in any research publications. So the question comes, AI for sustainability. People talk that AI can be used to achieve sustainability in multiple dimensions, or AI itself needs to be sustainable. These are some of the questions we have been talking. And now we are talking about giga-scale data centers for AI, am I right? For AI workloads. And data centers themselves bring a lot of questions about the sustainability and the water consumption, the energy consumption, and these are some of the sustainability concerns and imperatives for data center that we are talking. You talk about blockchain and Bitcoin. Blockchain, people say, I'll put blockchain for trustworthiness. No, it's pretty carbon intensive, and the mining of Bitcoins is how carbon intensive. 5G and the environment, there have been a lot of challenges because everything, all 5G, 6G is going AI native. AI for autonomy of network, AI everywhere in 5G, 6G networks. So how can I make it sustainable? So these are some of the questions that in 6G we are asking, how do we make our future networks more sustainable? These are some of the problem statements that you people can work as part of your research also. And then talking about AI. Now, AI we are using for environmental monitoring, agriculture, this and that, to save this thing, monitor everything. But do you know this innocuous small, milliampere devices, milliwatt devices, once you add them up at a city scale, okay, or at a country scale, they need a couple of more power stations to provide the energy that they need. So they're not, they're innocuous small thing, but each drop plus, they make the ocean. And that ocean is not of sustainability. That ocean is against the sustainability. It's all energy footprint, carbon footprint, power footprint. And then we are talking about green ICT. How do we reduce the carbon footprint of ICT anywhere? Then we talk about clean energy. The question is, we are using renewable solar panels everywhere to make it green energy. Am I right? Everybody thinks solar energy is the green energy. Am I right? But has anybody understood the life cycle environmental impact of solar panels themselves, manufacturing them and disposing them, the kind of materials that go into them? It's not funny. Okay. Then a lot of people have been talking about net zero, but truly there's a lot of greenwashing and this thing about that. But rather than a true, this thing people say we'll offset. Okay, we'll buy carbon credits, but that is not the real way of going net zero. Net zero is reducing your own carbon footprint within your own premise. The cities we live in, and we are leveraging all these latest technology to make our cities smart. Okay, but what is city but the people? Today the city is present, inhabitant the whole planet in a microcosm. We have all aspects in a single city. Like Delhi itself is a very good example of a microcosm of our planet. We have all kind of societal layers, classes of people, and all the problems, okay, all the issues, all the luxuries, all the benefits, everything we have here. Okay, and there are a lot of dark dimension to the glittering cities also. We generate a lot of waste, a lot of carbon emissions, and we consume a whole lot of energy and all that. These are some of the common greenwashing issues. So let's talk about very interesting thing. EVs are very popular, am I right? And what are they called? Zero emission car. So let's scratch the surface. And what is the heart of this? Heart or soul of EV? Battery, am I right? This electric vehicle battery. Let us see what goes into manufacturing this EV battery. 12 tons of rock for lithium, 5 tons of cobalt mineral, 3 tons of mineral for nickel, 12 tons of copper ore, move 250 tons of soil to obtain, 12 kg of lithium, 13 kg of nickel, 2 kg of manganese, 7 kg of cobalt, 100 kg of rams, 200 kg of aluminum, steel and plastics, and the Caterpillar 994, just an earth mover, used to earth moving consume 1,000 liters of diesel in 12 hours, not to mention all other equipment. And this gives you the zero emission car, the Teslas or whatever you talk. Is it really a zero emission car? What we are trying to do, we are displacing offsetting the carbon from the car to somebody else, to battery manufacturer. I think what we need going forward is a real, more holistic solution for going zero emission or being a carbon neutral, environment friendly transportation systems. But anyway, so whichever technologies we are talking about, lot of concerns we are talking about: carbon footprint, water footprint, energy intensity, GHG, the greenhouse gas emissions, e-waste generation, raw material and rare earth minerals. You must have already heard some snippets of all these issues. But now, as an engineer, you can choose to pick up 1 or 2 problems and work on them to solve these things using your own, learning. And last but not the least, arrival of the genie, the generative AI. ChatGPT, there are some figures about ChatGPT, and you can Google it, you'll find yourself. It is so carbon intensive, and all generative AI is all carbon intensive. I don't need to talk about this. So that is where artificial intelligence and ethics by design is needed. And I'll not bore you with more of these. You can go through it in the slide deck later on. So what we need? Do we need artificial intelligence or an intelligence with a human touch? Empathy. It will never have empathy, whatever it may say. It will never have. I saw this thing, maybe an ad on the social media today itself morning, that their agentic AI has empathy, emotional quotient, EQ, and all that. I'm sorry, but they are all fake. They are all superficial. We need all that kind of a thing. And another last but not the least, AI and cybersecurity, the good, the bad, and the ugly. I'll not bore you into this, but then AI has been a pivotal force in digital world, revolutioning all the cybersecurity. Let me just take you to this thing, maybe. Yeah. Today, we are facing a problem of defending against cyber threats that think. If 2025 provided us AI or starters, 2026 will serve full spread of agents and robots. In 2026, cyber threats have been already now more automated and scalable and driven by agentic AI that can plan and execute entire attack campaigns with minimal human intervention. You can Google the cases of Mythos and those Hugging Face stories, and you will see what I'm talking. These have been proven, all these fears that we were talking 6 months back, a year back, they have been proven right now. AI has reached that level of this thing. So what ways we need to look at? When we deal with AI, we need to look at all these 3 aspects. AI in cyber threats, dark AI, AI cybersecurity. AI itself needs security. And AI in cybersecurity. And I'll not bore you now today, but you can go through all these things. But there are some advantages. We can use AI in cybersecurity for improving our cybersecurity framework, strategies, and approaches. But all the same, what are the AI security threats? Data breaches, data manipulation, adversarial attacks, model theft and supply chain attacks, bias and discrimination, privacy concerns, AI-powered cyber attacks, lack of transparency and explainability, dependence on AI and existential risk. There are so many other keys, this thing. And then last but not the least, there's a dark AI. Do you know? And how many people know about dark AI? Have you seen this, heard about fraud GPT? No? Go Google it. tried. This is which writes malicious codes, can create undetectable malware, create phishing pages, create hacking tools, find leaks and vulnerabilities, and write scam pages and letters. And this is a very old, fraud GPT is an old tool, 3-year-old tool. There's nothing new. So be very, very aware what you're getting into. So we need a very, very strategic approaches, and I can talk about it while not bore you with this, but then let's see what role do we have? The engineer's role, we are talking about future of life, and I've shown you some glimpses. There's so much more we can talk. But what is the role of engineers in it? And can I have your attention, please? If you're not interested, perfectly all right, you can walk. But please don't distract me and distract others. Okay. So in COVID, I think we started the story that globally, because of the supply chain disruption, everybody was started looking at self-reliance. We was looking at self-reliance, supply chain requirement. And global other countries also started looking at China plus one strategy. India could replace China in the electronic supply chain ecosystem. But my question is, can our engineers also rise to the occasion and seize this opportunity? Do our engineers have the competence, the capability to make our India, Atmanirbhar Bharat that we have been talking about for so long? Can we have some products, some system designed and manufactured in India for the world? And so that brings me to some kind of some very interesting issues that I'd like to talk about. So I think this is the definition of an engineer, which I learned when I was doing my engineering. Okay, it's a very, very depressing definition, by the way, but it's good to hear to get a reality check. An engineer is a person who passes as an exacting expert on the basis of being able to turn out with prolific fortitude infinite strings of incomprehensible formulae calculated with micrometric precision from the vague assumptions which are based on debatable figures taken from inconclusive experiments carried out with instruments of problematic accuracy by persons of doubtful reliability and questionable mentality for the avowed purpose of annoying and confounding a hopeless chimerical group of fanatics referred to all too frequently as engineers. Is this the kind of engineers you'd like to be called? No reaction. No, absolutely no. But this is the kind of a image that we have. And this is the kind of engineers we have been churning out in last couple of decades at least. Why? Because we have been looking at qualification system. Like from school, you scored, you came to a good college. Now you score and you get a good job. No, I think you need to change that mindset. You need to learn rather than qualification oriented. We need to become a knowledge oriented education system as well as economy. We as a nation, we are known as knowledge economy. India has been always known. But in last couple of decades, I think we have turned into a qualification-based economy, which needs to change drastically. An engineer is an enabler of change because he or she is equipped with the ability to take society's grand vision or magnificent concept and literally make it work. In a world of increasing unpredictability, the role of engineer assumes a critical level of significance. The days of ivory tower academic bound engineers are over. The engineers of today and the future must acquire more than a nodding acquaintance with the concept of sustainability in all aspects, social, environmental, and economic. But how do we accelerate? Okay. And we are now here to become an engineer, but how do we accelerate and do this? Okay. Okay, yeah, fine. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, yeah, I understand everybody needs to go. Okay. So let's conclude that there's a crux, and this is what I actually want to talk about to conclude. Innovation. Indians have played a major role in bringing innovation to the world to improve lives of its inhabitants from time immemorial. Be it from the times of Aryabhat, who introduced the world to the power of zero, or in recent times, scientists like C.V. Raman, Satyendra Bose, and many more. Anybody knows Amar Bose? No? Wow. You use both speakers? And interesting. He's known as the global minister of sound, the wizard of sound, who revolutionized sound, the engineer who changed the way the world listens to music. He showed the world how forefront academic research can spawn into global cooperation and how science can directly change our lives. Bose Incorporated has been aptly called the Apple of audio world. He went into business so that he could do interesting things that hadn't been done before. Can we have a few more engineers like Amar Bose? Do we Indians have it in us? Is our education system conducive to innovation? And everybody is harping about innovation. Very easy to talk about. Some say innovation is the key to India's rise in electronics in the global arena. But the question that I always ask anybody who talks about innovation and all that is, how do we innovate without the competence to innovate? These are the 4 years when you need to try to build that competence to innovate. And you cannot depend on your curriculum to build your competence to innovate. Curriculum is important. It's foundation. It will give you foundational basic understanding of all the subjects, technologies, techniques, everything. But then how do you apply that to solve problems? Is that innovation? That you will need to build yourself. Don't depend on your faculty. Don't depend on your curriculum. Don't depend on your examination to build this competence in yours. This is the crux of the whole thing. We need to build this competence ourselves. And for this, what do we need? Passion. Do we have passion? Okay, good. But what is it? But tell me then one thing. Then let me go to the next slide. How do you know what you're passionate about? Ask yourself and you will know. Anything that you love doing or which makes you happy, the passion. I chose electronic design in 81 as my profession. Passion. I've been passionate. I struggled a lot, but I've never changed my line. I've been designing product system solutions since 1981 and never looked back. I paid a very heavy cost, by the way. I suffered financially quite a lot, long periods, but never deviated. Today, I'm happy, gratified. Okay, and for innovation. Now, innovation is fine, ideas, creativity, and all that. But then we need to understand design. Design is not properly taught in any engineering curriculum. We need to look into what design paradigm is all about. Evolution of design paradigm. In engineering curriculum is based on integration of a number of design experiences into theoretical courses and design specific courses. Why do we need? It is imperative to address the vital gap in the fundamental thought and their applications in product system realization through understanding of design paradigm. We know the subject, we are taught. How do we apply those theoretical concepts to design a product, design a system, design a software, solve a problem? This is what we need to learn. That's what design is all about. It's no rocket science. Okay, and there are, design is a practical, design is a practice of intentional creation to enhance the world. It's a field of doing and making, creating great products and services that fit human needs, that delight and inform. Design is exciting because it calls upon the arts and humanities, the social, physical, and biological science, engineering, and businesses. And this is a little more about design, which you'll find anywhere on the internet. What is design thinking? All these 5-stage process. I'm not going into all this. Let's move on. Design thinking. But future of design is very uncertain. The traditional design fields create artifacts, but new societal challenges, cultural values, and technological opportunity require new skills. So we need to be more cautious about this. And some of the traits that you develop: design thinking, system thinking, integrating, human-centered. And then further, you need to get into critical thinking. The key critical thinking skills are analysis, interpretation, inference. And all these aspects you need to pick up. And then a lot of people are stuck on the AI/ML. Am I right? Everybody wants to do AI/ML. A lot of people. And I meet a lot of engineers in the field. I want to go into AI/ML. And I ask them this question: have you mastered these subjects? Linear algebra, probability and statistics, multivariate calculus, discrete mathematics, graph theory, design and analysis of algorithm, random processing, or advanced probability. If you want to go into AI machine learning, master these subjects at undergrad or master's level, wherever you are. and then try to go deep into AI/ML. Otherwise, you'll be just user of AI, not a developer of AI machine learning, or you'll never be able to design new algorithms or design new models for AI if you really are serious about that. Just some input. And then these are some of the approaches which are more about the system approach. Okay, and so you do see these two figures. Which is a system? The one on the left or one on the right? Why? Absolutely right. Why? Because a system is more than a collective entity. The system is the product of interaction of the parts rather than the sum of its parts. I put all those parts there. Dismantle the car and put there. Does it make a car? Can I sit and drive it? No. So it's the way the different parts interact that makes a system, and it has some new emergent properties of the product, and the performance system depends on how the parts fit and not how they act separately. And this is a little bit about system and system approach. And what we need as engineers, we need to learn how to connect these different things, how to integrate these things from isolated problem into convergence of all these issues. Tomorrow's system, today's systems are integrated systems. There's a lot of interaction between energy, intelligence, hardware, policy, and all these things. You need to understand these interactions and have a systems approach in this. And there's some further details about system approach, system design, not boring you. And then this is this thing. Today we are so fascinated about technology that we have forgotten science. Science is hard. Science is tough. It takes deep thinking, deep research, but with a lot of failures and delayed results and maybe no results, failures. But that is what it gives. In COVID, it was science which came to mankind's rescue to help us develop the COVID vaccination. It was not technology. Technology was a tool, but it was science. So, and we have forgotten science and gone totally hypnotized by the technology because it's a magic. We just see the result. We don't get into details, and technology provides a different solution. Now we have started using AI without going into details of that. We are using Claude to generate code without bothering to know how it is being done, whether it is right or wrong. And I've seen my fresher kids, when I gave them some problem, they came back with the answer through Claude or whatever other tools. It didn't make sense. And I asked them questions, I started asking questions, they didn't have answers. I sent them back 3 times. It took me 2 months to convince my fresh batch of interns that, look, AI is a tool. Use it as an assistant, but first master the basic skill in whichever subject you are trying to work on. So master the subject first and then use AI as a tool, as an assistant, not as your master. So these are some of the things that I would, like to do that. And to close some of the things, what we need to do is leveraging the latest technological innovations in science and technology for sustainable development of society by virtue of developing products, systems, and solutions to make the planet Earth a smart, green, and secure planet. Thinking transformation for design, neither an easy nor a linear set of requirements, but a complex and iterative process that requires careful consideration and cooperation with all the diverse aspects of the design. So one thing, design engineers, and I've been talking more about design because I've been a practicing design engineer for the last 45 plus years. Design engineers are not paid to make the inevitable happen. They are paid to make happen what otherwise won't happen. And just to close, maybe let me open my some parting words. Yeah. So you are here for 4 years now, am I right? 4 years sound like a long time. They aren't actually. They will pass faster than a single compile cycle on a fast machine. When you stand on this stage 4 years from now, wearing your graduate gowns, nobody will remember the exact mark you got in your second semester midterm exam. What you will remember and what the world will ask you is very, very simple questions. What did you build? Whose life did you improve? What broken system did you have the courage to fix? Who did you bring along with you? Don't wait until your final year project to start engineering. Start breaking things on purpose this semester. Join a technical club, enter a hackathon before you feel ready. Write code that crashes, build a circuit that burns out. Ask questions that make your professor pause, and prototype idea that people tell you are too ambitious. Start experimenting. If you want to fail fast. Don't wait after passing out to try. Do it now. This is your time to experiment, learn, juggle. Okay, do whatever you want to do. The world doesn't need more people who can memorize specifications or regurgitate definitions. We don't need that. The world is hungry for engineers who care deeply about human problems. We need engineers who see a sprawling urban city and think about how to make it livable, connected, and clean. We need engineers who look at the vast digital networks and design them to be secure, equitable, and trustworthy for every citizen. We need engineers who see energy systems and demand that they become sustainable for the next century. That responsibility isn't waiting for you somewhere in the distant future. It starts the moment you walk into your first lecture tomorrow morning. So, what are we ready for? World is waiting for you, and you are about for what you are about to build. Thank you, and welcome to IGDW, and go build the future. Do it. All kudos to you. Have a great future, and build the nation, build the future, build the society, and be proud of yourself. Make yourself proud, make your friends, your family, your teachers, your mentors proud of yourself. Enjoy your life, have fun, don't slog, enjoy. Don't slog, don't try to slog, don't try to pass exams, it doesn't matter. When my daughter went into engineering first semester, I told her, you are done with all this, scoring. Now you just go and you have chosen a branch of your own liking, go and enjoy learning. First semester, she got CGPA of 8 and all that. When she passed out, she was the topper of the university. So it's just enjoy learning, and God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing your valuable insights and enriching us with your experience and wisdom. Now, may I request to Dr. Ravinder sir, Professor CSE Department, to kindly come forward and join us on stage for the presentation of the memento. Kindly accept this all of our gratitude. Thank you so much.
So I take the opportunity to sincerely thanks on behalf of the Computer Science and Engineering Department to host today's program, and also on behalf of the entire IGDW family. Thank you very much, sir, for your time and the enthusiasm to share the knowledge among the students who are here only about 200 students, but there are about more than 1,000 students who are online. And also the way you have spoken about the problems that have been thrown to the students, and the last few words that you have shared being an engineer. And I hope that the Institute IGDW will contribute not just what the students have passed out, what products they have built, what services they have created, how many end users they have served as an engineers. That could be the remarkable, measurable outcomes after their graduation or during their graduation. And I'm sure that our students will make it, sir. Thank you very much once again. Let's have a big round of applause.
Thank you very much. I really enjoyed myself. And if anybody wants to reach out to me, just Google me. I'm available on everything. You'll find all my inputs, all my credentials online. I'm a very public person and happy to mentor, guide, help, work with any of you. Thank you.
So we'll have a group photo, sir. Okay. From this side, you can stand up, maybe. So sit up, please.
I would like to invite some of the students, please come forward for a group photo